again, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Today we want to talk about something that may be common sense for some, but we've had questions about where we can park or where are places that we have found to park.
Or if we've had trouble finding parking since the new ELD mandate,
Right.
Parking has been a long time been a problem. Trying to find parking, where are we allowed to park? The biggest problem is getting to a place too late. If you try to pull into a truck stop at midnight and try to find parking,
It's going to be challenging. Yeah, you really have to plan that out. We haven't so much had a big issue with it. I think we have noticed now that the mandatory ELDs have come out, we have found it a little bit more challenging sometimes.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, being in a smaller rig, we have a little bit more options of where we can park.
We do. And because we're a team, we're not usually trying to find parking spots at night. We're usually rolling, but we do have trouble finding spots because we do our driver swaps between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. Trying to find a place to park and do that real quick has been challenging in the past for us.
Another challenge that we've encountered just by coming over to Landstar has a policy or a rule. It's called the sitting duck rule or sitting duck policy. And basically what it is, you're not allowed to park on any shoulder, exit ramp, or within 15 feet of a street or any street unless it's a true emergency.
Right.
It's not a big challenge, but it is a challenge finding parking sometimes.
Right. Back at Panther, there was a couple times we, might have did a real quick driver swap on a shoulder or, an
exit ramp.
Just we really didn't know better. It was in states that kind of allowed parking on those exit ramps.
I understand the policy they have. I mean, it is in place for a good reason.
It is. Basically, and this is my understanding of it, is if you're parked on an on-ramp or an off-ramp or a shoulder and you are hit by a moving vehicle, I think in the past 90% of the time, or if not 100% of the time, the fault falls on the truck being parked there. Even though the car veered out of its lane and hit the truck shouldn't have been parked there. So all the fault falls on the truck. And I believe that's why they have this rule in place, is for safety of us and motor vehiclists, So if you're not on the shoulder, then it's just not going to happen. When we first started, we thought it was going to be a really challenging rule to live up to, because I know there was times before where we had a delivery lined up and we were going to get there at midnight. And on their street, a small cul-de-sac, no cars even going down that road that late at night. They allowed truck parking. Some of these streets would have empty trailers parked on the shoulder or on the curb. And we would go and park at those places and wait for the delivery to open up. But with Landstar, that's not allowed. We did that quite a bit, so now we're left with the challenge of finding somewhere to park for the night until the place opens and then go into the drop. We thought it was going to be really hard, but it really hasn't been.
No, we haven't had a big issue with it.
No. We're not as close as we'd like to be to the delivery, but we just get up a few extra half an hour earlier than we would have, and we try to find a truck stop, or we try to find a Walmart that allows truck parking. Now, parking, I mean, it's getting really challenging. I've heard stories of places in Georgia that if you park in a city where their city ordinance does not allow overnight truck parking, they'll go around and boot your truck, put a boot on the wheel, and make you pay $500 before you can get that boot off. There's a lot of Walmarts that aren't allowing trucks to park in their parking lot, rightfully so. They're not a truck stop, they're a grocery store. The ones that do allow us to park overnight, we should be very gracious of them, because
and not leave trash or pee jugs laying on that. I mean, a lot of that is why they've stopped letting trucks park there, because we're just trashing the place.
Right. If a place does allow you to park there overnight, be very cautious. Don't leave any trash behind. Don't pee in their parking lot, you know? I mean, that's why we have a porta potty in our truck, so we can go whenever we need to, and not have to, worry, oh, is the Walmart going to be open for me to be able to use their facilities? And one thing that we recommend highly is call a place beforehand. If you know you're going to be getting to this place around this city around midnight, call a Walmart. If say there's not a lot of truck stops in that area, call that Walmart and ask them, do you mind if I park in your parking lot overnight? I will be gone by 7 o'clock in the morning. And just ask them, and 9 times out of 10, they'll be able to tell you if the city has an ordinance that does not allow parking. A lot of these Walmarts that aren't allowing parking, it's not them that are saying no truck parking, it's the cities. These cities are enforcing rules. I think the trucking couple, they went to a Walmart to do some grocery shopping and
got a ticket.
And it wasn't the Walmart, it was the city. The city does not allow trucks to park in that city. It's funny because I've tried to do Google searching on city ordinance. I'll Google the city and try to do some searching online, and they don't make it easy. They don't put it on a website where we can search it and find it. So it's not something you can just search and find. Truck parking's getting hard out here. It really is, since the ELD mandates. A lot of these guys that would just keep running, or even utilize an extra 30 minutes to find a parking place, aren't able to do that anymore, and they're just stacking up in these truck stops, parking
anywhere
they can.
There's even, like, we've noticed even some rest areas. We like stopping at rest areas. There's some rest areas that they actually have signs posted, no overnight parking.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Now, I don't know how well that's enforced, because every time we go there, obviously there's trucks parked there overnight.
Right.
That's just a given. So I don't know how they're giving people tickets, if they're really enforcing that. So I've seen some saying no longer stays than 10 hours, which makes sense.
2 hours.
2 hours
We've
seen
2 hour limits. It's like,
so,
or I think we've seen one that said 9 hour limit. It's like, okay, you're going to put a 9 hour limit, but we have 10 hours that we have to take a break for solo guys and stuff,
Yeah.
So, what the...
So, I mean, I guess that some of the places we can park, obviously truck stops. Some truck stops do charge for you to park there, depending on the truck stop. If you purchase a certain amount in their store, or you get fuel, a certain amount of gallons, they allow you 24 hours free. But there are some that do charge, so be aware of that.
There's times you get to a truck stop and maybe that's all that's available is a paid parking.
Yeah, they have reserved spots, which are paid. Some of them you can use, I think, points to get the reserved spots if you needed to. Rest areas, of course, some Walmarts, places like that. Where are some other places we found?
Home Depots.
Home Depot
Lowe's,
and Lowe's.
A lot of times, I don't think truck drivers have really taken advantage of those parking lots yet.
But be cautious.
Yes.
Anywhere you're parking that is not approved truck parking, like a truck stop or rest area, you need to get prior approval from the manager at that place. Don't just assume.
Always call ahead of time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We do that almost every time if we know if we can't find truck parking. We were at a Love's in Texarkana a couple weeks ago, and I circled around the parking lot, about 6 times?
Yeah, we went through
6 times. We parked somewhere where it wasn't technically a parking, but we just parked there to kind of see if we seen any trucks leaving out, and then circled around again, and it was just packed. Trucks on top of trucks. And so finally I called the manager. I said, hey, I've been circling your lot for a good half hour trying to get a spot. You guys are packed up back here. I'm in a short Expediter truck. Do you mind if I park up front for the night? We'll be gone early in the morning. And he didn't know he's like, what's an Expediter truck? So I kind of had to explain it to him that we're the size of an RV. But after explaining it to him, he said, yeah, that's fine. Just park out of the way. Make sure you're not parked where you're blocking anybody. And that's what we did. And we went inside and bought something. Not that we needed it, but just to show our gratitude. These truck stops are there to make money. They're not there to provide truck parking, you know. That's a benefit that they offer if you are a customer, but go in there and buy a bottle of water or something. At least let's show our gratitude at least. And
now that's not to say if you just went and spent $200 in fuel, you've got to go buy something
Right.
else. That is a good point. A lot of the Flying J's have RV parking up front, and a lot of them will allow us in the Expediter trucks to park up there. A lot of bobtails park up front in these truck stops, but just make sure that you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So that's an option too.
This is our last ditch emergency, can't find nothing else, is Cracker Barrels.
For
Expediters or bobtail guys or something, they have RV parking out back, most of them. But again, you know, we don't want to go parking in their parking lots and making a mess of it, and not going inside and at least buying a breakfast. You know, we don't want to take advantage of these, because it's hard enough as it is right now. If drivers keep taking advantage of these places, then what's going to happen next? You know, all these places are going to turn into paid parkings. You know, and we should be grateful that it's not there yet. But the way things are going, you know, I mean. I would have no doubt in the future that a lot of truck stops start going to paid parking, you know.
We're also fortunate enough, like y'all have seen in our vlogs, you know, if we know we're going to have a weekend off, a lot of times we'll look for an RV park.
Yeah.
Now, we always do call and let them know what type of vehicle we are in. We're in a commercial vehicle. It's the size of the RV. It's got a big custom sleeper. We let them know that before we just go there. We've never had any of them tell us, no, we wouldn't allow you to park here.
Yeah.
So that is an option. Of course, at an RV park, you're going to be paying to park, but at least you're out of the truck stop. You know, we can use the shore power. They've got water. They've got the RV dump, you know, so there's a lot of amenities there that I don't mind us paying for to be able to use. They also have showers, most of them, you know, pools, a lot of things. You can get out of the truck. It's a lot nicer to do that sometimes than to sit in a truck stop. But a lot of it comes down to now is finding parking is really part of planning your trip. You know,
it really is.
It has come down to it where you really got to plan in advance and kind of know where you're going to park. If we have a load, we know where we're going. The first thing I always do is I look at the address. I look at where it is. Then we start actively looking, okay, if we need to find somewhere to park, what is around there? We try to be proactive about it to find something, so we're not at the last minute being like, oh my gosh, where are we going to park? We have nowhere to park. And that has happened to us before.
Another tip I would recommend also is trying to find somewhere to do your 30-minute break.
That's one thing I've started doing before.
Both of us have started doing this since we've been with Landstar.
Yeah, because before I kind of look at the rest areas on my route, and I'd be like, okay, I've got an hour. There's one in 30 miles. I can make that. Well, what if you get there and it's closed?
We've had that happen many times.
I've started looking at least 2 hours before I have to take my 30-minute. And if I have to take my break 2, even 3 hours before I have to, I will do that just to be on the safe side, because you don't want your clock to tick down and you run out of time and you're having to pull over on the side of a road or a shoulder.
Right.
That's just something that's not acceptable with Landstar, and they will terminate your contract for that.
They will terminate you, yes.
So that's, you know, it's not worth our job.
You have to take a 30-minute break within 8 hours of starting your clock. You got 11 hours of driving minus 3 hours is 8 hours. So anytime after you've started, after about 3 hours, take a break. You know, I do it about after 4 hours that I've been on and working, which is usually I'll start my clock at 1. Heather will usually lay down around 4 or 5. And when I pull over, I'll let the dogs out one last time before they go lay down back with her, and I'll take my 30-minute break right then and there.
Yeah.
So then it's done and out of the way with. I don't have to look for another place later at night trying to find a place to park, you know. There's a lot of rest areas where you can pull into the car parking section, but then there's a lot of rest areas that have security that'll come run you off. It's getting tough out here. It really is. Even with the ELD mandate, I know we've noticed a huge difference in being able to find parking. These truck stops are stacking up anytime after 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
So yeah, guys, so we just kind of wanted to give you our thoughts on parking, what we've done for parking, what we do for parking, kind of, share that with you all.
Yeah.
Share your ideas on what you do down in the comments. We'd love to read that. Other people, I'm sure, could get some ideas from you all as well who are out here dealing with the same thing we do.
Yeah, and wherever you park, let's try to keep it professional. Don't
Keep
leave
it clean.
Keep it clean. Don't leave a mess. It's just going to help us more towards the future.
Yeah.
Hope you guys liked the video.
Thank you guys as always for watching and subscribing.
Until our next video.
Peace, love, and expediting.